Hello, it is Serum, and I am back on Kerbal-Space program. And today we are going to rescue our pilots who did not make it back from the moon because of fuel shortage. I sent some guys there, tried to get them back, and it didn't work out the way I had hoped. And they are trapped somewhere between the moon and Kerbin. So I've basically converted one of my moon landers into a rescue ship, and we are now sending them up to rescue the three Kerbinauts. I'm using the rocket is basically an asparagus staging, which tends to be a pretty fuel efficient way of getting a rocket up, and that's kind of what I'm counting on, as it's takes a lot of fuel to rescue somebody, and we don't want more pilots trapped up there in space. So we are now going into the atmosphere and just basically getting into orbit. This is, I'm trying to do this as fuel efficiently as possible. And they've used up all the big stages, and I'm down to my little poodle engine, which is kind of slow at getting into the orbit, but it's getting there. It's got the power. It's just slow. But I've got a lopsided orbit as always. Seem to get those a lot when I'm first leaving the atmosphere, probably because of the way I exit out of the atmosphere into space. Probably doing a bad angle or something. But that's fine, because we're working our way out to here. And I've now target the ship we're after, and I'm basically trying to find a good place to meet up with it. And so I have 426 kilometers, but I think I can probably do better than that. So I'm kind of playing around. 298. I end up finding a pretty good one. Still, I kind of come in and adjust everything. I get a little bit closer, and then from there just work into orbit, but I cut out a lot of that just to save some time. So now I'm going to begin my orbit, or extending my orbit out to meet up with the ship. And those poodle engines take quite a while to get out there. So I'm a little bit off from where I wanted to be, but not too much. And I'm actually going to come in over the orbit, outside of the orbit of the other ship. And there it is. We're 17 kilometers away, slowly creeping up on it. And I'm basically at this point doing the whole matching speed, then flying towards it, then matching speed, flying towards it, and just continuously doing that until you move in nice and close. So now I'm going to match the speed with it once it gets closer to me. So now we're down to 6.5 kilometers. And now I'm going to just start moving in on it. Try to get in as close as I can, and then match speed again. This rocket, not the best at, it kind of wobbles around. The RCS placement of the nozzles, once again, something I suck at, and it's just kind of bobbles around and is hard to control, but that's okay, because we're gonna lose this stage soon, and then it'll be much easier to control this thing. So here we are. We're coming in at 278 meters. And it's actually drifting away, so I'm going to have to adjust some, move in on it. But we're getting close. So now we've come in 43 meters. Just taking it nice and slow. And there's no docking ports on the moon lander, so I took them off of the rescue pod too, just to add an extra parachute. So I'm just gonna have to spacewalk these guys across. I tried with one less parachute, and I came in kind of quick, and in a test run of this thing, and I landed and managed to destroy that little space underneath the capsule that I'm going to put the guys in. So I had to put another parachute on and some landing legs just to kind of help protect it. So here we go. The first guy is going to make his spacewalk from the fuelless ship over to the rescue pod. I always have a little bit of problems with the controls on the RCS stuff. I tend to sometimes get confused on which direction I'm going and overshoot something and hit the wrong button and go the wrong direction, but I'm getting the hang of it slowly. This is actually my second attempt at this because the first one I accidentally warped too far and I crashed right into Kerbin, so I had to start the whole thing over again because I forgot to save it. So here's my next guy. He's going in. He's kind of drifting down low, but I'm going to bring him up. What a sight. After over a year of orbiting Kerbin, they're finally going home. Oh, and I missed. I grab on the ladder. Or no, I don't grab onto it here. I just grab on right there. Brought myself back down. And I'm in. And the last guy. He's finally leaving. So this moon lander is just gonna drift in orbit forever. With the sails, or not the sails, the solar panels just extended, soaking up sun's rays and basically being a useless satellite. And there's Kerbin way out there. You can see I didn't get very close before I ran out of fuel. That's because when I made this rocket, I didn't do the asparagus staging. I just did all one staging, and it didn't give me enough fuel to get there and back. I did successfully land, I just couldn't get back. Alright, everybody's aboard. It was a successful spacewalk of all three guys from one ship to the other, and now I'm plotting a approach back to Kerbin. I decide instead of trying to go directly into Kerbin, I'm going to get into a low orbit and just bring myself in slowly so I don't have as much speed when I come into the atmosphere. See if I can prevent the rescue capsule from being destroyed on landing. Although I suspect there was just not enough parachutes last time. So here we are. We are coming into Kerbin. Our Kerbinauts are excited to finally see home. It's just so close. So much closer than it was. So I come in behind Kerbin here, and then I'm going to do another burn to bring my orbit in until I'm in the atmosphere on the right side of Kerbin, so we can see the landing. And I have plenty of fuel, so turned out I didn't know if I'd have enough fuel for this, but it turns out I had plenty. And every time I do these approaches, these close approaches with other ships, I get better and better at it, so I end up needing less and less fuel each time. So here we are, we're coming in. I'm going to try to just skim the atmosphere and let it slow down my ship. I don't want to bring it in too fast. I also have this fear that I'm going to rip off the parachutes. Even though I have tested this and I didn't lose any parachutes last time, I did come in too fast, so I'm concerned that I may have added too much weight with the legs and that might throw off things. But I'm pretty confident that at this point that it'll come in safely. So now we'll detach the engine. We don't need that anymore. We're in a decaying orbit, so we'll be returning back to Kerbin. It's also not the most aerodynamic pod, and I don't think if they ever actually add friction to the atmosphere that can damage the ships, I don't think something like this could safely get down to the planet. because that flat surface would just basically disintegrate in the atmosphere. But for now, at least, that shouldn't be an issue. So I'm kind of just positioning it so that we come in with that flat side down, because we want to have those parachutes behind us when we deploy them. So here we are. I'm trying to make land, but I'm realizing that it's probably not going to happen, so it's going to be a water landing. And I actually just flew over the last attempt that I did, or the practice attempt that didn't work out. I just flew over that. So we're entering the atmosphere now. I really do like those effects. That's so definitely adds something to it. The atmosphere friction effects. I'm going to be in trouble though if they ever do add the physics to it so that it can destroy ships when you come in, because half my ships will probably disintegrate coming into the atmosphere. So now we've deployed the parachutes. I put them all around. There's 6 of them, I think, around it, and then one on top. Before I just had 3 parachutes, and that wasn't enough. But I have 6 of them now, plus a big one on top. So now we're just waiting to slow down. And this is when I realized I'm not going to make land. I was really hoping for a touchdown on land, because I wanted to see if the legs would help. And, I extend them here anyway, just for the hell of it, just to help reduce the impact on the water. But I was hoping I could land on land and then extend the ladder and have everybody climb out, but that didn't end up happening. But at least they're back safely on Kerbin, or they will be once we touch down. Now I'm a little worried here because those last parachutes weren't extending, but they finally opened up. I don't know if they were supposed to go that long. I don't remember them waiting till that last second to open, but maybe that's what they're supposed to do. So I was thinking for a minute they were all going to die, but they survived. So now we're dropping in. I'm watching my speed as I come down, and it's looking good. 5 meters a second. Seems like it should be slow enough to safely land. And if it isn't, hopefully like those legs will take some of the brunt of it. But look at that. It was beautiful. Couldn't ask for a nicer touchdown. So everybody's down. Yay, they're all happy. Yay, everybody's celebrating. And all my guys, let's get one out. And he can swim around. Oh, yeah. He's been in space for a while, so he has atrophy of his muscles. I think he's probably not going anywhere. He's just going to lay down and take a nap. And let the gravity slowly crush his organs. But he's back. Yay! So anyway, I am Serum. We have just rescued 3 of our astronauts. We have 3 more on the moon, including Jeremiah, who was... It's Jeremiah, right? Yeah. Who was the first Kerbin to orbit, so he's a hero. We want to get him back. So we're next going to do that.